Hey, welcome. So, audio is going to be a little bit different for a little while, guys. My mic's broke, so I'm going to just be recording this with the mic on the iPhone for right now. Tis what it is. We are in the process of remedying it, and yeah. So, wanted to drop an episode last week. Didn't get a chance to do so. Things are kind of crazy here lately. We had church camp, so went and did the church camp deal. It was a lot of fun. And then recording this next week's gonna be kind of brutal, just because of how crazy of a week it is. But I might go ahead and figure out a way to get it done. Because I'd like to have another episode out. I'd like to be consistent for a couple of weeks. We're working on a lot of stuff at the moment, guys, and I'm super excited about it all. But today's episode is pretty cool. I want you to think back to like your most earliest recollection of the first time you heard rap and country combined together. For me, it was Nelly and Tim McGraw's Over and Over Again, back in 2004. Now, for some other people, it may be something else. And then after Over and Over Again, probably pretty close to the same range, about the same time period, we had Cowboy Troy come into the country scene with a really good song that I enjoyed as a kid called I Play Chicken with the Train. That one was pretty good. And then there was a couple others, but Big and Rich burst onto the scene with their country rap sound as well. And that was like the birth of the genre, I would say. Even to the point that it was entertaining for what it was at the time, and it was silly. It was like not meant to be taken serious. And then if you fast forward about 10 years later, maybe even 12 or 13, actually let's go ahead, let's pull up some so today's episode is brought to you by Dubby, and be sure that you're going and checking out our Spotify playlist. Some things are changing with Spotify, by the way, and we're looking into what to particularly do for ourselves, but we still highly recommend Spotify. But check out Spotify for our Tin Roof playlist. We've also got our spread shop where you can buy a Tin Roof t-shirt, as well as some other merch, but we are working on getting some more merch done, so bear with us on that one. So bursting onto the scene in 2014, we have Ryan Upchurch, who, in my opinion, was one of the guys that like made country rap like legitimate, along with guys like now very popular country singer Jelly Roll. I would consider his stuff, people consider him like a rapper, but the vibe that he gave on like being from Nashville and everything else was very much a country vibe, in my opinion. And Jelly Roll broke onto the scene relatively close to the same time, if not a little bit earlier, because like there's freestyles and stuff of, you know, when Jelly got out of prison and was really starting to do his stuff. So Strictly Business came out in 2011, but that lean towards being a country rapper kind of happened, in my opinion. This is my opinion. Around 2017, where it started to really take that lean towards more of a country vibe. Although, if you listen to things like, I believe it's Therapeutic Music 5, the song Smoking Section, that is like the main single from that album, is very much like got a country vibe to it. So it really took a turn there. Now there's that I don't even like count the guy, I forget his name. Michael Knight, that's the guy's name. I couldn't even remember it, which if he sees this, he'll throw shade or whatever, but like the dude, there's actually a really interesting documentary that like follows him and Jelly Roll right like in like the same year, and like Jelly Roll is very much Jelly Roll, and this Michael Knight guy is using like a very weird marketing setup where basically like all of his stuff's being pushed at like gas stations and stoplights and stuff, and he's using you know, former inmates, which, you know, kudos to him on getting, you know, former inmates something to do, but the way he did it was very cult-like, and it's very strange, and his stuff is not of the quality that Upchurch is, or some of these other guys that came along that we're getting ready to talk about, but he still needs to be recognized as one of the people that was involved in the transition of it, from going from silly, you know, Big and Rich stuff like, well, we're coming to your city, to what it is now, where the lyrics are more meaningful. Like if you were to look at the lyrics for the song The Old Days by Upchurch, you know, talking about I miss the old days, tall Chevrolets, you know, long tan legs on a tailgate, a little bit more geared towards a common country song, and even involving guitar riffs and you know, different types of twang along with, you know, the usual hip-hop beats and stuff. And so it became more serious in a sense, like from the topics to the way it was taken, it became a solidified genre. And it's because of guys like Upchurch, Adam Calhoun, Jelly Roll, Struggle Jennings, Demun Jones, The Lax, Bubba Sparks. Bubba Sparks was actually towards the beginning of it too. He definitely should be taken way more seriously than Michael Knight, and should definitely get a lot of credit for the transition even to Upchurch and these other guys, because he was, you know, doing stuff with The Lax. He was doing stuff by himself with solo songs and stuff, and even, you know, had an opportunity to do a song with the Yin Yang Twins. You know, you cannot forget Bubba Sparks whenever you're talking about the beginnings of these this movement of country and rap. Now, a lot of people say that a lot of this kind of started or was inspired by you know, some of the classics like Ragged Old Flag, and then other songs even by like Charlie Daniels and stuff, where it was more like a spoken word as opposed to you know, a way a country song is normally sang. And I don't think that that's right. I you know, because you can do spoken word with so many different things and whatnot, and to me that's more poetry than like what I would consider like an earlier country rap, or even an influence. Even like A Boy Named Sue, I wouldn't credit that as like an influence. Now, these guys that do perform country rap have definitely, you know, name dropped guys like George Jones, Charlie Daniels, Johnny Cash, all these other guys, because yeah, they are influenced by them, but not, I wouldn't say in the same way as like their music is influenced by it. Their lyricism, sure, but the way they, you know, perform it like vocally or whatever, and like the tone, not so much. But like listening to music and being inspired by it, definitely. So like there's a difference between influence and inspiration, and that's what I'm trying to get across, because it's very much they were inspired, in my opinion. Again, a lot of this episode is going to be, I'm trying to merge facts and opinion here, because I have a very particular view on country rap. I've enjoyed some of it. You know, I think what song is it? I think it's Pioneer is on the Tin Roof playlist by Upchurch, because I think it is so good. And then I've even included some of his like grungier stuff, but there's so many talented guys out there that have done it or do it, and in a way, I almost feel like the genre has been kind of paused in a sense, because a lot of these guys, they've blurred a line here where it was more like country-ish, but that line now has been more blurred to where like these guys are being taken as like serious rappers. And so I think that it's great that like these guys are getting the acknowledgement. It's just kind of taken on like a thing of its own, and I dig it. And I'm, these guys should be taken seriously because these guys have put in a lot of effort. Demun, Adam, they definitely deserve to. What is it? Adam and Demun are performing with Brantley Gilbert. Like that's a big deal. A guy that's being played on the radio all the time, and you guys get to like be on different parts of the tour. Like that's a big deal. And then today's modern country, some of the guys have like split to go more towards modern country, and some of the guys have split and have like been taken serious as rappers. And really, like, one of the coolest things to me is you got like Shaboozey now putting on, performing country stuff, which Let It Burn is fantastic, and that is definitely on the Tin Roof playlist, because it is a like legit awesome country song. And even like the stuff that Post Malone's doing, which could be dated back to his tweet. I can't remember when the tweet went out. I'm gonna look up the date on that real quick. But his tweet went out where he, talks about whenever he hits 30, he's gonna become a country music singer. And he turned 30 not like too terribly long ago. May 12th, 2015. So Post Malone turned 30. He hasn't even turned 30 yet. He's only 28. He was born in 95. So that guy's awesome though, because like he's been hanging around guys like Dwight. Here, let me be a little bit more specific. Dwight Yoakam. We've seen him with pictures of so many other music stars from the country genre, and he, just has recently done with a song with Luke Combs, whose Father and Son's country album was fantastic, which I don't know why I specified country. He's a country singer, but that Fathers and Sons album is fantastic, top to bottom. But then he's also done stuff with Morgan Wallen, which Morgan Wallen's all over the place in, the rap and country genres as well, being a guest in different songs. Broadway Girls was a huge, viral hit that was like massive. I can't wait to see Post do more of the like country vibe. Like he's had some really good songs that would be on the radio today, and people are making fun of country music because of like right now the best country singers are rappers. Well, you know what, these guys grew up at a time, let's think about it, like even with like talking about just country, or not country, but the country rap stuff, these guys grew up in the same time frame that I did, where we had a mix of both worlds. If you lived in like a rural area just outside of a big city, we got in the car to go garage selling with grandma and grandpa, Marlboros being smoked like no other, just like one after another, chain smoked. And we're, got the local country radio station on, and we're listening to Alan Jackson, George Strait, Brooks and Dunn, Dwight Yoakam, Tracy Lawrence. The list goes on and on with there. And then, we go to school and we, meet our friends who are, hey man, my older brother just listened to the Eminem album with me last night. That it's, this and that. And hey, have you ever heard of P.D. Pablo? And it goes on and on and on. So yeah, all that merged together to get us to where we are now, where these guys that, started off being rappers, really like country music, and they want to do some country projects. And one thing, I happened to accidentally listen to a small, like 2-second thing of that. This is the only thing that I will give credit to the Beyonce album before, and it's because Shaboozey's on it. And so like I was listening to a couple of Shaboozey's country songs, and it switched over to this song, and I didn't even actually listen to the whole thing because I realized, like, whenever it first started playing, I was like, what is this? So I looked over at my phone and seen what it was. I was like, nope, not even interested. And it was the beginning to a song from one of Beyonce's songs on her new album. It was talking about like genres are a tricky little thing, puts people in boxes, or yada yada yada. Totally agree with that. Because we've got guys out there that are doing amazing in both genres, or multiple genres, rock, whatever. I mean, who would have ever thought that a guy that just does his own music, is an independent feller like Ryan Upchurch, would get recognition from Elton John the same week that he drops his not country album, but his rock album. I think that was Creaker. I think it was Creaker 2 whenever that happened. But like that's just wild. That's not something that happens, that an independent artist gets a little soundbite from one of the like most recognized performers ever. Elton John's a very famous artist, and was like the song, one of Upchurch's songs was played on Elton John's radio. And what we've gotten to nowadays with music is very unique, and I'm thankful that we have this such a unique setup where we've got guys that have crossed over and that are doing so well. Like for me, Let It Burn is my favorite song by Shaboozey, but people love Tipsy, and a lot of this honestly could even in between, if you looked back and looked between the Nelly song with Tim McGraw to whenever country rap really started being taken seriously, there was even little bits and pieces where we had other people that did stuff. Snoop Dogg actually did a song with Jamie Johnson, Willie Nelson, and a few others, and it was talking about I think it's called like Smoke Me When I Die is the actual title of the song. So there's several times whenever things were crossed over, and it's cool that we've gotten that. But now that like the best songs are all by country, by rappers is what I was trying to say, is it's unprecedented. Their songs are more country themed than a lot of this other stuff that is on country radio right now. Like Dan and Shay, not one of my favorite ones. Florida Georgia Line was way too poppy. Like if you put that next to like Post Malone and Morgan Wallen's I Had Some Help, Post Malone and Morgan Wallen's I Had Some Help is way more like late 90s country oriented, which that's what people want, is like that sound prior to modern countryism, where it's more poppy with country lyrics. Even like I was getting at with the country rap stuff, where it's they have guitar riffs and stuff in there. Country music should be a little bit of folk mixed with a little rock mixed with a little bit of blues, which is a loose quote of something that Trace Adkins said in one of his songs. Again, a lot of this is opinion, but I wanted to give you guys like a kind of like a history rundown and a kind of a view of where we're at with country music that is different, but it's good. Chris Stapleton and Post Malone just dropped a song not that long ago, and I cannot wait to listen to it. I have not had an opportunity yet because of being at camp. But since being back from camp, I've checked out all the songs that have been released from the Twisters album. I gotta tell you what, I am super excited for when that movie comes out, because that album will drop and I'll get to hear the whole thing. Since I'm really trying to listen to a lot of different things to maybe give some reviews and stuff, I've been trying to get caught up on different albums that have been dropped this year, country and metal both, and that's been a lot of fun. But I think for this next week we will be doing rap metal, guys like Body Count and so on there. Since we talked about the country rap side, we'll talk rap metal. I think that'll be a lot of fun. I've had a lot of fun talking about country rap today. I think I've pretty well pushed it as far as I can. It's been a ton of fun. Don't really have much for the Throwing Dirt segment today, other than Raleigh, Poland is getting wild. It's unprecedented because the way Raleigh works is it's very much you look at the roads that you're going to race on and you take notes. That's why you have your co-driver to help you remember this, this and this, and they're the ones that remind you. That way, as you're getting to it, you're already prepared for what you're going to see, and you know how you can attack it at those high speeds. Well, Sebastian Ogier was hurt during the they call it recce. So he was hurt during recce, which means he didn't get a chance to compete, because he's in a neck brace now and everything due to being injured during recce. So Calais Robin-Pera, who is definitely one of the top stars right now in Raleigh, got the call up because he wasn't even supposed to be racing. So like he and his co-pilot, like his navigator or whatever, had to hurry up and jump on planes and get to Poland. And so they did that. They didn't get a chance to recce because recce was over whenever they get there. So not getting to take notes, having to qualify, having to take each stage that all these other guys have notes on, and they're doing their best at wide open. And at the end of today, when I'm recording this, they were in the lead over one of their teammates by 1.8 seconds. That's impressive, to be flying that fast down all them gravel roads and just winning. Like, that shouldn't be happening. But it's been a really amazing battle there. Monster truck wise, I can't think of anything. One of the big shows be happening today for Monster Truck Throwdown, either today or next weekend. It always happens around 4th of July. It's called like Monster Truck Madness, I believe. And I know it takes place up in Mount Pleasant, Michigan, and it's Soaring Eagle, but it's like one of the top shows every year, one of the biggest ones for independents, and this year is number 10, I believe. So big deal there. Last time I did get to talk Throwing Dirt, I had forgotten that Miami, Oklahoma took place that weekend, and that's also one of the big independent shows that I highly recommend you looking into to go to if you are a fan of monster trucks and if you want to travel, or if you want to like search it on YouTube or whatever. Monster trucks, Miami, Oklahoma, something like that. The Monster Blog is another great place to look for monster truck related content. I think that's pretty much all I got right now as far like Throwing Dirt wise goes. I appreciate you guys checking out this podcast every week. I do want to encourage you guys to follow me on my socials. That is Justin Stories, especially since I got hacked recently. I need to rebuild all my stuff, so could use your help there. So Justin Stories, Tin Roof Podcast, Paladin's Maledict, those are the main ones. And yeah, I'm creating content, sharing content, but I got TikTok, I got an Instagram, and I've got Facebooks, so please check those out. Thank you guys so much for being here for yet another podcast episode. Go get you some W. Check out our spread shop. We thank you guys so much for being here. Truly grateful. Hope you enjoyed us talking about country and rap, kind of how they go together and kind of where that came from and where it is now. Definitely looking forward to seeing some of these other projects that these guys come out with, like Shaboozey. I can't wait to hear more music from him. Jelly Roll, pretty consistent on his country bangers, and Post Malone just seems to keep dropping them. So, hopefully that continues. Thank you guys so much. See you next week right here on Tin Roof Podcast.